The point of death cannot be defined. What we do know is there is a process of dying during which I feel the near-death experience occurs. 75% of the people in that first study had had a documented cardiac arrest. Part of the experience is they said they floated up out of their body and they could see what was going on during the resuscitation. I felt that myself as a cardiologist could pick that apart.
That's when everything went dark. Just felt like I was fainting at the beginning. And then it's like pulling the curtain or snapping a light or something. Somewhere around that point, I was still on the floor, and I recognized myself down there, kind of curled over in a half-fetal position.
And when you saw your body, did you look at your body for a photo? Did you see your face?
I could see my right ear and this side of my face because I was laying facing away.
How did you feel when you were in that state?
Pretty buoyant. Felt, be up. Here's something going on that nobody else in the world knows about.
Have you told a lot of people about your experience?
Lily Olden first.
What?
The second printed.
This is clinical death as we know it. Sometimes for a few minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes hours. And yet modern medicine, or the miraculous, I don't know, resuscitated them, and they were able to come back and talk about it.
You may think you've died. All definitions, medically, scientifically, and legally, state that once you go across that red line, i.e. you die, you don't come back. And I like to say, doctors resuscitate, not resurrect their patients.
I was actually an agnostic. I didn't know if I believed there was a God. I don't know if I believe there's a heaven or not, but my dad was dying of cancer. And someone gave him the very first research on what's now called near-death experiences. And I saw it on his nightstand, picked it up and read it in one night, and that just got me curious. So it kind of opened my eyes, my mind, and I started to explore from there. I found it fascinating, kind of the train of how this whole near-death experience phenomena started to get traction in America. Dr. George Ritchie was the first one to really talk publicly about this. He was actually at Camp Barclay getting ready to go fight in World War II.
What happened during those 9 minutes? Who did you see? What happened?
I met the Christ because I was told to stand up. You're in the presence of the Son of God. He came into my room, and he conducted me through 4 different realms of life after death. That life really is forever. We don't die. Death is nothing more than just a gateway through which we go.
Dr. Moody actually heard him lecture at the University of Virginia, where he was a visiting professor, and heard him talk about this near-death experience.
In 1969, I became a professor of philosophy at East Carolina University. And in teaching courses on Plato, I began to hear these experiences from my students and also from other faculty members.
I was brought into this field kicking and screaming. I was at the University of Florida in Gainesville with Sarah Kreitzinger, who was a psychiatric social worker at the hospital I was working at. She had picked up Raymond Moody's book, Life After Life, about 2 months after it was initially published. She read it, she gave it to me, she asked me what I thought.
This is Dr. Raymond Moody, noted psychiatrist, lecturer, and researcher. He is perhaps best known as the author of the groundbreaking examination of the near-death experience, the best-selling book, Life After Life. It has sold upwards of 15 million copies and has been printed in 14 different languages.
They tell us, first of all, that they seem, from their point of view, to leave their physical bodies, to float up above the scene of the resuscitation, and to watch the events going on down below. They tell us that they go through a narrow passageway or a tunnel into an incredibly brilliant and warm and loving light.
Hogwash. I'd never heard these experiences before. I went into the hospital asking some of the older physicians, hey, you ever heard a patient say this? No. So I was very skeptical that these things were even occurring, and if they were occurring, they were either hallucinations or delusions or whatever. In cardiology, we're about scientific studies. So I asked a few people who had been resuscitated, and the third patient I talked to had an experience similar to what Moody talked about in his book, Life After Life.